Hello and welcome back to the RogueTech campaign. It's episode 29. We are following on from the previous episode straight away with a garage episode. So, if you're not interested in me talking about building mechs for the next 25 minutes, then you might want to skip this one. But, if you are into hearing my thoughts about building mechs, then this is the episode for you. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to get the boring stuff out of the way, and then we're going to actually talk about what I want to talk about. So the boring stuff is to just, fix this trebuchet. The MechLab and all of its loading glory is like a biggest pain in the ass. That's why I didn't finish this off last time. So we'll just repair all this and strip all the equipment. And we'll worry about the repair work later. I mean, the fittings. In fact, no, we will do the fittings as well.
Right. I'll get it in the schedule.
Stop the work. What the hell? What better time to do the fittings than now, right? This mech kind of will lead me on to talk about the Stalker. Basically, I'm going to end with building the Stalker. And it's the Stalker that's going to reveal what the big problem is. Okay, so we're going to strip this down. I'm going to max out the armor. And then we're going to just strip away some armor to get a little bit more comfortable level of protection. Let's see, we can lose a point here, we can lose a point there. I think we can lose a few more points off of the rear. There we go. In fact, let's strip the legs down a little bit more. In fact, we get this final ton off. Okay, there we go. That's pretty solid. So we have a number of tons to work with. And this is the replacement for the fire starter, right? So what we want to do is, because there are a few things that we can do, but the simplest thing to do is to just fit jump jets. I'm just going to use the basic one. Because you want to decide how you're going to move. So you're either going to move with jump jets or you're either going to move with sprinting, right? So if you're going to move with sprinting, you're going to fit a supercharger. And if you're going to move with jump jets, you're going to fit jump jets. Seems simple enough. Either way, you're going to generate heat. Okay, but if you don't want to fit any heat sinks, in fact, we're going to have to move this jump jet to a weird place because we can't have it here because we've got 4 support points here. If you don't want to fit any heat sinks, then you can't really fit any energy weapons on top of that, right? So the simple build would be to fill this up with the most powerful support weapons that you have available, which be either HMGs or flamers. So in this case, we're going to go with HMGs. So we can get 4 in there. And another one in each side torso. And obviously we're going to need ammo for them. So I think 400 would probably be a good idea. You get 200 in the can. By the way, someone told me about a mod that stops this weird scrolling behavior. So thank you for telling me about that. I haven't gotten around to doing anything about it. And you can see here, so we have effectively the ability to jump every turn. We're relying on our innate heat sinking to deal with that. And we have enough HMGs here to generate 150 points of damage, which is a huge amount of damage. And we have enough ammunition for 400 rounds, and we are going to use 25, 30 rounds a blast. So we'll have plenty of ammo, basically. Now, this could be way more devastating than it is. But that would involve, naturally, more support hardpoints. This is the thing. Support weapons are incredibly powerful, but they require hardpoints. It seems obvious to say that, but it's not obvious to some people that hardpoints can in many ways be the most overpowered thing in the game. The more hardpoints you have, the more OP you can be, because the smaller weapons tend to be better than the larger ones. So, for example, the SRM4 is way more heat efficient than the 6 SRM4. Do I even have any? That's the only thing. I actually seem to have an SRM4 shortage, which is a bit annoying. I've got some Inferno SRM6s though they do produce a fair bit of heat. See, it would be better for me to fit, although I can't buy them, I just have to make do with what I've got, but it would be better for me to fit SRM4s if I can get away with it, right? If I have the hard points for it, which I do on this mech. You can see there are quite a few hard points available. In fact, I can even fit these haywire things if I wanted to. I wish you could actually shop while you're in the MechLab, because I have to cancel all these changes now to go and buy gear, if I wanted to go and buy gear. I have a lot of SRM2s, but they're not very heat efficient. SRM6s are actually better. And SRM4s only generate 8 heat, so they're very efficient indeed. So what we'll do is we'll just cancel this for now. Discard changes. It's a bit of a nightmare that you can't just save and then pick back up, because it becomes a task, and then once the task is locked in, you can't unlock the task. And that's very annoying. So let's go back here and let us buy some SRM4s if they are available. Yeah, they are. Unlimited. So you see here, it's only 8 heat for an SRM4, but an SRM2 is 6 heat. So there is literally no reason to fit an SRM2. SRM2s are hot garbage. Even ones with special traits are garbage, which is a bit of a shame. So what I'm going to do now is, just to clean up my inventory, I am going to sell these SRM2s. I'm never going to use these rocket launchers. I know I bought them, but I'm just going to sell them. Let's get rid of them, shall we? Off you go. And we're also going to get rid of these SRM2s because they're pointless. I did manage to capture a nicer SRM2. Plus 2 damage, but even so, it's not worth it. You would rather fit a 4. Okay, so going back to purchasing. If you had the hard points to do it, you would only fit SRM4s, because they're just more heat efficient. See? And that's the dichotomy of the game. Is you're meant to be trading off between hard points and efficiency. So I'm going to just stockpile these because these are great kit. And having infinite hard points breaks that dichotomy completely. Why would you ever fit an SRM6 if you can fit as many SRM4s as your tonnage allows? Why would you ever fit an LRM20 if you can fit as many 15s as your tonnage allows? The 15 is more efficient in terms of heat and DPS But we are operating on the idea that 4 missile hardpoints is usually the most that anybody's got. And that's where this game kind of breaks the mold quite a bit. And that is going to create balance problems, basically. So let's go back to this. Let's go back to putting it how we wanted it. It's a shame that you have to repeat the process if you buy some extra stuff, but whatever. So we're going to stick our HMGs in. We're going to stick our machine gun ammo in. Now, I'm not going to fit LMGs, right? Because it's a waste of hard points. I've only got 6 hard points. If I could get away with it, why would I not just fit nothing but LMGs, right? Because they would be lighter. I can't remember exactly where I went down to. I think I went down to 55 here. Okay, that'll do. Then we got to get our jump jets in here. So we're going to move using jump jets only. Just quickly rebuild. I guess I can put the second jump jet down in the leg, whatever. Okay, and then we're going to go back to weapons, and we are going to fit some SRM-4s, because we have the missile hardpoints for it. Right? We have a lot of missile hardpoints here, so why would we not take advantage of them? And they're very heat efficient. Obviously we're going to need some missiles, so we're going to add them. So if you look at this, we're looking at all the HMGs generate no heat at all. The SRM-4s are very efficient at 8 each, so we've got 32 points of heat for that. And then we still have a couple of tons left for heat sinking if we wished. Or we could add another 2 SRM-4s and have a higher alpha if we wanted a higher alpha instead. I think I'm not sure I actually want a higher alpha. I don't want to risk overheating. So we'll just put in a couple of heat sinks, even though it is probably overkill to do so. And here we have a mech now that generates 32 heat to strike. Yeah, there we go. Alpha strike heat 32. The jump jet heat is 46, which is pretty hot. But we won't be jumping all the time. We'll jump when we need to jump. And all these HMGs obviously generate no heat at all. So unless we try very hard, we are not going to cook this mech. And we have a alpha of, I mean, that's 150 right there, plus the 4 SRM-4s. About 250 alpha, and the ability to jump across the map. But this is, I had to fit SRM-4s, right? Because even though they are quite heat efficient, I had to fit them because I ran out of support hardpoints. This is how the game is balanced. It's that need to think about hardpoints that prevents devastating combinations. And it just makes me think, this OmniTech Stalker has infinite hardpoints. So, is it not going to be completely ridiculous? I think it will be. Especially if you build it for those low tonnage, high efficiency weapons. Now, once again, assault mechs have this issue where they can't they can't move very swiftly unless you fill them with jump jets. And you can only get 3 jump jets. So what we're going to do is repair, strip. Look at this tonnage. We have so much tonnage to play with. So we're going to go full armor, because that completely makes sense to do so when we have so much free tonnage to play with. And here we have, can I fit these? I think, are these for heavies only? No, I can fit them. The extended range jump jets. Jump jet eyes. They weigh 1.5 ton, but they dramatically improve your ability to jump. We have infinite hard points effectively, so I don't really care where I stick them. We'll put them in a visually pleasing way. Get our targeting computer in here, which we saved for the occasion. Okay, and I'm just going to presume that I need some heat sinking, right? So let's put a heat sink in the leg. We've got a leg mod here. Might be nice to have DFA reduction, because DFA actually triggers all support weapons. So if you DFA somebody, all your support weapons are going to go off as well. So it's nice to have that option. Now, if I wanted to, I could now just fit nothing but SRM4s. Right? 8 heat each, 34 damage per critical space. I can think of nothing more devastating, apart from, of course, the insane support weapon version of the exact same strategy. And so that is exactly what I'm going to do. Four flamers ensure that the target will be warmed to a comfortable temperature. Just got to remember that they generate heat. That's why I'm not going for more. HMGs, of course, HMGs. There's 100 damage right there. In fact, I think the firepower reader will actually tell us now. Alpha strike damage 140 already. Plus, you know, the DFA damage if we decide to DFA. Okay, we bought a load of LMGs, right? Excellent. It's not like we don't have the tonnage for them. Now we're up to 200 alpha. Let's get some more MG ammo in here, because we're going to need it. Yeah, sure. More HMGs? Why not? Right? See how stupid this is? Look at how much tonnage I still have left. Look at the heat efficiency. I have one heat sink. One heat sink. That's all I need. I actually have an average heat dissipation of -12 because the mech comes with 30 heat dissipation plus 6 for the double heat sink. And the jump heat is only 31. So if I jump, I'm going to generate -5 heat. And then when I alpha, I'm going to generate 24 for a total of 19 heat generation per turn, jumping every turn. And we're already up to 250 alpha of completely unavoidable support weapon nonsense. And I'm not even done. So, small lasers weigh only half a ton. So we could also get some small lasers in here. In fact, we're going to move this jump jet out of the way, make this mech look a bit wonky, because I need these 4 points. Or, you know, we can just shove more HMGs in. You know, whatever we want. Let's have some more HMGs. Yeah, sure, why not? Let's get a standard MG in there. Let's never care about running out of ammo for the wretched things. Okay, and we are still... we've still got a good 11 tons to play with. and our alpha is now 340. See how stupid that is? And we could just keep doing it, right? I mean, well, we can't just keep doing it because I've used all the support hard points, but I mean, I could trade out for more HMGs and trade out the LMGs. But 340 damage, straight up, completely unavoidable. That's pretty extreme. Obviously, I can't use these support hard points up here because there is no critical space. Now, the question is, what else do we add? Or do we even build this in a different way? You know, I had those rotary autocannon 2s, right? At 16 tons each. But I don't know if they really make any sense. You get 16 heavy machine guns for one of these. Well, no, you don't get 60 heavy machine guns. You get 16 standard machine guns. And the standard machine gun does 15 damage. So 15 by 16. Trying to do math. It's a lot, anyway. Well, 15 by 10 is 150, right? And then another 6. So yeah, it's 210, I think. So it's just a little bit more. It's very silly. And now, of course, I have loads of other hard points left for anything else that I could possibly want. So I could now fit a bajillion SRMs if I wanted to. SRM 4s, nice and heat efficient. Why not? Nothing to stop me from doing it, apart from heat build-up. $100 rounds is 4, 8, 12, 18, 5 volleys, so probably want 2 cans. And let's get another heatsink in here. So the heat efficiency is dropped now, but I don't have to use those SRM4s. I can just use them when I'm desperate, or when I really need to kill somebody. And we're looking at 468 alpha, which is far, 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 far beyond the amount of damage that you could realistically do in the vanilla game. Far beyond it. And support weapons are unavoidable, and they attack when you melee. Obviously, the SRMs won't attack when you melee, but there is a limit on hard points here. I mean, I could pull the LMGs for HMGs and further invest tonnage in this no heat generating machine gun nonsense, which I am very tempted to do, actually. But the whole thing is very silly. And this is why there are hard point limits, folks. Because stuff like this is dumb. Well, I've bought all these LMGs now, so I might as well use them, right? Why not? What should we add? We got the samurai gyro, but it takes up the whole center torso, so it's kind of pointless. We've got advanced materials, which we could use to add more heat sinks. But I'm not going to do that. Let's just remove a little bit of rear armor to get the weight distribution correct. There we go. So what we have here is a mech that, if it doesn't use its SRMs, can jump every turn and use all of its machine guns to absolutely devastate the enemy. Or it can move, use its machine guns and SRMs, or it can melee and use its machine guns and move, obviously, if you're meleeing. We have options, basically. We have a huge amount of options here. And it doesn't... it will never overheat if you play it sensibly. You've got... Unless you jump and fully alpha every turn, you're not going to overheat this mech. As long as you do something else, you'll be heat neutral. And this is the thing with the support hardpoints thing. So this design, I've thrown it together. Once again, all my designs are just thrown together based on equipment that I have lying around. There are probably better designs. I could probably fill this with streak SRMs or whatever. There are lots of things I could do. I could put those rotary autocannon 2s in here. Only thing I don't like about rotary autocannon 2s is they're not support weapons, so their chance to hit is going to be around the 50 to 70% mark, whereas the support weapons will absolutely always hit. They'll be 95. And you need a lot of ammo cans to feed the hungry things. So if I had 2 of them, I'd get 400 damage for 2 rotary autocannon AC-20s. And yeah, so 400 damage for those 2 rotary autocannon AC-20s. But I'm looking at 1 ton for 5 shots, I'm pretty sure it is. It's something stupid. 1 ton for 5 shots. So that's going to require a lot of tonnage to keep those fed, considering that they're going to be firing 4 rounds a volley. So you're firing nearly a ton of ammunition with every attack. It's still less firepower, and it's got less chance to hit, which I've already said, and I think the range is probably just about the same. So yeah, why would you? You know what I mean? Why would you do this? I mean, I might, because I've got them. I have them, right? I've just used all of my support weapons. I have no spare support weapons really left. I've just actually used them all up. I'm left with crap now. So there is that. But it's silly. This is why you can't have infinite hardpoints. And the funny part is that this was the problem with MechWarrior 3, which was a fantastic game. Fortunately, in MechWarrior 3, there was such a huge limit on there was a limit on how much salvage you had. The campaign was very carefully balanced out based on salvage. So you couldn't min-max basically like you would want to for having infinite hard points, because you simply did not have the equipment to do stupid builds. And also ammunition and armor were real things that you had limited quantities of. So you couldn't burn loads and loads of armor faffing around with stupid builds and repairing yourself all the time, because you would use your reserves of armor. And if it ran out, it was basically game over. But in this game, armor is infinite and it's free. And so hard points are the only thing that's limiting you from making some very, very silly designs. Some very silly mech designs. Like I just did. Anyway, there is time for a contract. We have burnt half an hour just simply making mechs. I'll go for part money and part salvage. Should I just go for full salvage and hope that they get stuff that I can scrap? Let's go for full salvage and see if I get stuff that I can scrap. So, of course, my cataphract is now ready again. Oh, look, the return of the commando. This is more than enough firepower to do 2.5 skulls. Okay. Oh, what the hell? Let's do a contract. Why not? People who didn't watch me rabbit on in the garage get to miss out. I'd really like to make a long-range mech, but I just don't really feel like they're hugely viable. At least not without targeting computer and one of those plus modules. Ones that improve your chance to hit with ballistics or missiles or lasers or whatever.
Command interface initiated.
I doubt we'll find much in the way of entertainment here.
Oh, sweet. I love this map. This should be easy. I don't even have to do anything like
Hostile on sensors.
especially sneaky or anything.
Roger.
I think we just climb the hill, get the high ground, and kick ass.
Roger.
Enemy reserved. Good.
Holding.
They did speed up all the animations and everything in the mod, which is very helpful, but I still feel like the game is quite slow sometimes. I'm just in it for the easy money this time.
Receiving you. Eye on.
Oh, how I wish I had jump jets for this guy. I always meant to redesign that commando, but Yang's backlog put me off doing it.
Pulling in.
Yang's backlog has put me off doing a lot of customization jobs.
Aye, yup.
Basically, do not put too fine a point on it. This is so funny that the edge of the cliff is not considered forest, so it's easier to precariously run up the edge of the cliff than it is to actually ascend the forest properly.
Sprinting.
Okay. The idea of a melee stalker tickles me, considering it's meant to be an LRM support boat. Mine has become some sort of bizarre kung fu master with no arms. If at all possible, I'm going to try and get these guys to punch out or take their heads off, since we've gone for full salvage. But full salvage can turn into a huge sum of money, depending on what we capture. It doesn't look like the base that we're meant to be capturing has actually got any
Yes,
turrets,
Commander.
which is, I find that interesting.
Confirmed.
Let's go!
You need to secure the area, Commander. I'm still seeing hostile contacts on screen.
Okay, we are looking at a Kintaro, a Griffin, an Unknown. Oh, and a Hunchy!
You should have never come.
Been ages since I saw a Hunchback. Let's get him nice and hot, shall we?
Skipper.
Can you get... Are you close enough to use your flamers? No.
Ready for orders.
If I heat him, obviously, he'll lose his evasion tokens. So, the easiest way to heat him would be to apply plasma to face. 45% chance to hit. Let's turn the lasers off. I just want to heat him. Oh! Yes! It's a hit! He's hot! We got him hot.
Ready to rock.
Now all we got to do is get him dead. Should be simple enough, right? Aim for the head to finish it quicker. Well, I only got him hot, so that only got rid of his evasion. That doesn't mean that I can just target his head. Got to knock him over first.
Standing by. Got it.
This silly little commando. He could stand in the gap underneath the legs of the cataphract. Oh well, whatever.
In all weapon systems.
Missiles away. Gonk. We have somehow managed to avoid hitting the center torso completely, so in order to kill him fast, I'm just going to try and take his head off. If at all possible. An overheated mech that's lying down. You can get like an 8 or 16% chance to take the head out.
Ready.
None of my characters will actually get a 16% chance because none of them are good enough, but you know,
Position confirmed.
the potential would have been there. Go for the head. 4%. It's okay.
Target's taken a critical hit.
Let's see what the Griffin does. The Griffin is doing something stupid. Well, they are hopelessly outgunned, so
Awaiting orders.
can't really blame them. I think the Hunchback has been pushed back a turn. It's actually this mech that goes next. I'm very tempted to just punch the Hunchback, but I think we should get rid of the Griffin's evasion so that we can get more done. Yeah! Well, that guy's arm is gone. No, it held out. Most of the follow-up firepower ended up going into the leg. That's got to be a trebuchet, right? I think. I didn't quite catch it.
Systems holding. Good to go.
Okay.
Roger that.
The Black Knight struggles to hit enemies that are smaller than it. But what we will do is we will use multi-shot. Just so that I can poke the Griffin over. Oh, overheat alert. That's okay. Just turn these stupid plasmas off, they're way too hot.
Firing on multiple ends.
Sweet. That's the Hunchback cooking. Oh, he missed. 90% chance and he missed. A Hunchback looks weird without a weapon in its hunch. Don't you think? For whatever reason, he doesn't actually have a weapon in his hunch, so it's just like a weird space there where the weapon should be. It looks really wrong. I think the Hunchback just looks wrong in general without its AC-20. Let's get high for that sweet accuracy bonus. Okay, this should be fatal, hopefully. Oh, nasty, nasty, nasty. And he ejected. Wise man. Ironically, he ejected, and it's like the counterforce of ejecting kept his mech stood upright because the leg got destroyed, so it should have fallen down. But since he ejected, it's going to carry on standing up, which is pretty funny. So you can just imagine the inertia of him ejecting kept this mech standing upright. Look at it. How is that still standing? I don't know. But it is. It's my commando. We're gonna move it so that it gets its full allotment of evasive tokens. Tokens of evasion. Because this commando, despite being an elite commando and thus pretty tough, is the one target that the enemy could realistically kill. Oh, he just took a headshot. Although the Griffin seems to have completely full armor on its head, so I think taking it out with headshots is going to be pretty difficult. And there's the trebuchet. Okay, send in the punch bot. Send the punch bot after the next victim. Once they've been knocked down, there's really no need to carry on meleeing them. Plus, anyway, you want to keep moving to keep those evasion tokens up, right? Don't want to develop bad habits just because it's an easy mission. Bad habits are what causes PPC rounds to go through your head. Oh, this Griffin's actually going for a big run.
What are your orders, Skipper?
This will not help him.
Ready for orders.
Oh, come on, Black Knight. Why have you got to be so slow?
Aye, up.
I was hoping to punch with the Black Knight. But no, he's too slow. I have to use the Cataphract to do it.
Good morning.
Oh! Oh, the pilot's dead. Evidently, the pilot only had 3 HP.
Enemy eliminated.
Sucks to be you.
Yes, Commander. Firm.
Then let us carry on. I would like to refine the design of this Black Knight. It's got the maximum double heat sinks in it now, but I have noticed that there are PPCs and plasmas out there that are minus heat. And that would be especially beneficial for this mech. If I turn the primary weapons off and just use the medium lasers for now. Down he goes. I designed the Black Knight to be able to fire all of its weapons from cold, which it can do, or to fire either its medium lasers at short range to cool off, or its heavier weapons at long range. And it works pretty well. It gives you a lot of options. If the previous episode where I took out those assault mechs sort of showed you anything, it's the advantage to having this kind of design where you can unload and then next turn hide and then come back out and unload again, completely sort of minimizing your level of risk. A lot of people play this game like the way that you play it is that it's just you alpha at them and they alpha at you and you alpha at them and they alpha at you, and that's the whole game, is endless alphaing at each other until we're all done. But you can play sneaky. You don't have to alpha all the time. This guy's center torso is nearly caved in. I already forced 2 enemies to eject, so there should be plenty of loot in the loot table. But nevertheless, just shoot at the head, and if I take out the CT, who cares? But if I make him eject, then that's great. Get my priority picks. If I was using all melee bots, these guys would be dead by now, but there is a level of risk.
You have orders?
in just using nothing but melee mechs. He says this having just created a Stalker, which is like the ultimate melee machine. I can imagine the Banshee would be very good in this mod with HMGs. Oh, ow.
That hit something good.
I'm surprised he's still alive. This is another mech that's decided to get close. Light mechs and medium mechs are viable, right? This one great thing about this mod is light mechs and medium mechs are viable all the way to the end. And that's great. You won't have me argue with that. But one thing is that has made melee even more powerful than it is in the vanilla game. Like, considerably more. Because how else do you deal with a light mech with like 8 evasion tokens, or a medium mech with like 7 evasion tokens, right? If it's right next to you, and your heavy is right there, or your assault is right there, the answer is to punch the guy in the face. It looks like the enemy is deciding what it wants to do or whatever. I believe there is a thing built into the game that if the enemy turn takes too long, it automatically cuts out. It automatically braces them and then gives you your turn. I hope. Oh, come on, game. The bugs in this game. AI wins. Quitality. The guy probably has like ace piloting or something. Wow, doesn't this suck? Well, so much for doing the contract. Well, it's Iron Man, so bugs happen. So, in the next episode, we will be continuing on from the pre-contract save game. And I will probably just retake this contract to generate some money. But unfortunately, it looks like the game has frozen. And I cannot do anything about that. So that is what it is. Sorry guys. Revisionist history. This battle never happened. On the next episode we will immediately reload the pre-mission autosave, which thankfully the game creates. And we will carry on from there. So this episode was cursed to just be a MechLab episode because we tried to add a contract to it. And the universe was like, no! I will not allow it. No contract. MechLab only. Nothing we can do. No, I'm just mashing buttons at random and hoping that something happens, but it's not going to happen. Okay. Join me next time, where we will attempt to redo this mission. These are the joys of Iron Man. Welcome to my life. Welcome to my journey. See you next time.